Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy.
We learned today that Major Burns will return to LSU to complete his college eligibility. Burns is a Baton Rouge product, went out to Georgia, transferred back to LSU, and he has been a mainstay in the secondary for the last couple of seasons. And this is part of what I was talking about in the middle of December when we were discussing LSU's defense. At that point, the 9-3 season was over. The Heisman Trophy winner opted out. Yes, you had a bowl game to play against Wisconsin, but a lot of LSU fans, and certainly those of us that covered the team, had kind of shifted focus to, okay, what does next year kind of look like? And you figured Neighbors would leave, and you figured Thomas was leave, and you knew that Jaden Daniels was out of eligibility, and you're not sure about Logan Diggs or Charles Turner, but you kind of get a sense that the offense is going to be pretty good. And the defense, well, is there going to be a staff change? Is there going to be a staff change? I don't know. Well, now we do. But what I did know in the middle of December was you're not going to have a massive personnel change on defense. I would call it likely that these guys are out on the field against USC on defense. Braden Swinson, Mason Smith, Jacobian Guillory, Sage Ryan, Javian Toviano, Ashton Stamp, Zy Alexander, Greg Penn, Harold Perkins, Whit Weeks, Deshaun Womack. He didn't play a lot, but you get the point. Like, that's a nucleus of this defense, and Major Burns is a part of that. Now, I don't know who's going to be coordinating them, and I don't know who the defensive backs coach is going to be, or if it's going to be a safeties coach or a corners coach. I don't know who the defensive line coach is going to be or who's going to deal with linebackers. That we don't know. But Major Burns coming back furthers the point that, like, a lot of the guys who have been on the field for this LSU defense in 2023 are going to be on the field in 2024. Now, Jordan Gilbert is transferring in from A&M. Good chance to play at safety, sure. Sean Washington, not a freshman, coming in. Figure he's going to be in the mix. I don't know if Dominic McKinley or Gabe Relaford are ready to step in as a freshman. Maybe, maybe not. We were really excited about Deshaun Womack, and we didn't see a lot of him this year. Probably a lot of playing time to be had on that defense, quite frankly. So whoever the coordinator is, they're going to have a lot of the same cast of characters. Now, I will also further this point from yesterday, and this is not my favorite thing to do. I'm not playing Gossip Girl Hour here. Like, that's not why I'm here. I don't get into a lot of rumors. I don't do a lot of social media stuff. You don't even really hear me use the term, well, I spoke with someone, and according to my conversations, I do that sometimes when I have something I know. But that's not even twice a month on this show. Honestly, it's not. So this is headed that direction, but I don't have anything concrete. I'm just here reacting to what's very public. This is not private stuff. This is not inside sources stuff. This is not, well, I spoke to someone here or according to a source that I have here. This is very much out in the open. The social media reaction to yesterday's cleaning of house, no bad pun intended, is noteworthy. It really is. Braden Swinson's kicking rocks. Harold Perkins is sending out tweets. LaTerrence Welsh, who's in the transfer portal, jumped in and had a comment. So while I hate acting like I'm behind the scenes, I hate drumming up drama. That is so not what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about what you ought to be calling on ball screen defense, how well this team runs the ball versus that team, and who should start game one of the regional. Like, I'm between the lines a lot of time. That's where I like to live. I don't like to live in drama land. I know that gets clicks and drives people places. It's just not where I want to live. But I can't avoid this. And so while we can all look to the field where I like to live and suggest that was not good enough on defense, you start to ask why. Well, I think there are a lot of reasons, and we went through them yesterday. I think there have been some recruiting misses, some transfer portal misses. I think there's been some poor development. I think the game planning was likely not very good. I think the execution by the players was not very good. I thought the tackling was not very good. The coverage, the pass rush, like, you can go everywhere with it. But I had not added in the factor that maybe everything fractured on the defensive side of the ball in terms of relationships between coaches and players. And I don't know that, okay? But I'm just looking at social media, man, and these don't appear to be veiled shots. Like Harold Perkins was playing some chess there with not so much fun when the Rabbits got the gun and all this kind of stuff, but like kicking rocks, celebrating, guys moving on. Dominic McKinley got on the action yesterday. And so I can't help but look at that and be like, this was not good. And I'm not going to go any further on that because for the 13th time, like, I hate it. But I'm not going to completely avoid it either or dismiss it. So the question is, like, okay, who's next? And the report surfaced from Brandon Marcello 24/7 yesterday that Blake Baker is very much being pursued, and that makes a lot of sense. Blake Baker spent time here. He's done a pretty good job at Missouri. I like the people that say, well, he gave up 50 against LSU. I'll give him a little bit of a pass. Saban's team didn't really slow LSU down much either. I watched Kirby Smart's defense try to chase around Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow for 4 quarters in Atlanta. It didn't go very well. Sometimes there's just an offense that's that good, and just that's what it is. How about we look at the other 12 games they played? Looked pretty good against Ohio State. So, and again, this is going to go back to the same thing I told you when LSU had a vacancy at head coach. You're not going to tune into this show very often and hear me give you the list of what I'm hearing from. I'm not hearing anything. I gave you one concrete thing in the LSU head coaching search, and is that Billy Napier wanted this job. That's the only thing I knew. Everything else, as I'm doing here, I'll just react to what's being reported. Because if I sit here and try to hypothesize about everybody under the sun, it's a lot of wasted breath. And quite frankly, for the LSU head coaching search, how many times did we mention Brian Kelly before he walked to the podium? Almost none. There was a time where things were pretty wide open over there at Football Ops. You could get a lot of information out. I'm not suggesting it's Fort Knox now, but it's quieter over there. So on this show, for the next probably 2 weeks, I would imagine, as things start to happen, you're just not going to get a lot of, hey, this is what I'm hearing. You're going to get, okay, this was reported. Here's what I think about that. And as far as Blake Baker goes, I'd be happy with that hire. I think Blake Baker did a really good job with the linebackers when he was here for that 1 year. I think he has experience at multiple levels calling a defense and has done so in the SEC the last 2 years. I think he has shown himself to be a very, very solid recruiter who develops great relationships with his players. And if you're looking at that side of the ball right now and don't think that's important, holy cow. It is very important to have great relationships with your players. The names I gave you yesterday, as I alluded to, were what I figured would be the biggest splashes that I knew of out there. And that's Jesse Minner, and that's Jim Leonard. Do I have any inclination if Brian Kelly has called them or if they've answered the phone or there's any conversation between agents or anything? None. Absolutely none. But if Brandon Marcello, who's done a good job of reporting things in the past, tells me that Blake Baker's emerged, that's coming from somewhere. It's either coming from Blake Baker's agent trying to get a raise at Missouri, which is very possible, or there's significant interest. And now that Missouri's season is over and the transfer portal window is closed, there are some conversations. And honestly, I figured once that report came out yesterday that it would be within 3 hours that there was an agreement together, because I feel like it comes together that late in the process. So the fact that it hasn't happened over the 18 hours since that report was made suggests maybe that was posturing by Blake Baker's camp. It's a plausible thing for him to say, hey, LSU's courting me. I've been there before. My wife's from there. That's a more high-profile job they're coming, pay up. There are not a ton of leverage spots for defensive coordinators. That's one for Blake Baker. So we'll react to it when it happens. You know all the names that are circling. And while there are some things on Brian Kelly's resume that are questionable, and you can certainly look at the defensive staff hires that he made his first stop or his first time through the ringer here at LSU. He's done a great job of surrounding himself with really, really good coaches over his time as a head coach. And I would anticipate that over the next 2 weeks, he'll fill out the staff with a lot of guys who are very, very accomplished.
Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.